Have you ever asked the question, why are there so many movies and games, be it online or a game console, in recent years coming with zombies themes? Before COVID-19 actually happened, there was a movie called Contagion by Steven Soderbergh had premiered on 3rd of September 2011 at the 68th Venice International Film Festival in Italy. Between the movie premiered to the day COVID-19 was first reported on 30th December 2019, were a total of 3,040 days. Personally, I found the answer very interesting because one of the Bible prophecies that Jesus himself had given the Pharisees and Sadducees, asking him for a sign from heaven, was that of Jonah. And that prophecy from the book of Jonah, chapter 3, verse 4, had came to pass exactly 40 days after Pastor Joseph Prince and his New Creation Church had purchased the remaining shares of the Star Vista Mall to fulfill several Bible prophecies, including Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12 to 14, and thus revealed himself as the Antichrist, the 666, the man of sin, the son of perdition.
And Jonah began to enter the city on the first day's walk. Then he cried out and said, Yet 40 days, and Nineveh shall be overthrown. Jonah chapter 3 verse 4. New King James Version.
And as if the movie Contagion had imitated real life and vice versa, during the initial active COVID-19 period, governments around the world started to adopt social distancing measures deployed in the movie. Another fact I find most interesting was, when I researched into the internet for the first ever made movie with flesh-eating zombies, the result rendered George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead, 1968, was widely recognized as the first movie to feature modern, flesh-eating zombies. Although the film referred to these creatures as ghouls, it established the cinematic template of reanimated corpses consuming human flesh. The third interesting thing I had found while preparing for this video was that these two completely separate event and subject matter had both rendered the number 68. The number 68 was interesting because only a few days ago I had published a video about the Star Vista Mall being in close proximity to a road called Mount Sinai. And the Bible prophecies regarding Mount Sinai and the mountain of God were found in Psalms chapter 68. But what was even more astonishing is when I looked up Hosea chapter 6, verse 8, I found another Bible prophecy that was totally related to COVID-19.
Gilead is a city of evildoers and defiled with blood. Hosea chapter 6, verse 8, New King James Version.
Let us look into some of the historical facts of COVID-19. Fact number 1. After Pastor Joseph Prince and New Creation Church had purchased the remaining shares of the Star Vista Mall on 20th November 2019, exactly 40 days later, on 30th December 2019, COVID-19 was born. Fact number 2. On 11th of January 2020, a Chinese scientist had uploaded the genomes of the coronavirus onto a public domain, with a plea to all scientists around the world to band together to find a cure for the virus. But by doing so, he brought the prophecies of Genesis chapter 11, verse 1 to pass.
Now the whole earth had one language and one speech. Genesis chapter 11, verse 1. New King James Version.
The prophecy was not only fulfilled by purpose, but also by date. Fact number 3. Then on 8th of March, 2020, an American biopharmaceutical company by the name of Gilead Science suddenly announced on NASDAQ that they could be the first to beat the coronavirus. With this announcement from Gilead Science, several Bible prophecies and links to Pastor Joseph Prince were spectacularly fulfilled. If you have never watched any of my previous videos on prophecies that Pastor Joseph Prince had already fulfilled, I suggest you to stop watching this video. Please watch those videos first, and then return to watch the rest of this video presentation. Now, let's review some of these prophecies in relations and links between Pastor Joseph Prince, the Mark of the Beast, and Gilead Science. As I recalled vividly during the most deadly times of COVID-19, a lot of pastors and Christian leaders posted videos while trying to deflect the arguments that the coronavirus was not part of God's judgment. But this was far from the truth. Reading from Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 17, New King James Version.
For behold, I will send serpents among you, vipers which cannot be charmed, and they shall bite you, says the Lord.
This prophecy from the book of Jeremiah had mirrored exactly what had happened when the children of Israel sinned against God in the wilderness.
So the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and many of the people of Israel died. A Numbers chapter 21, verse 6. New King James Version.
But when Moses pleaded with God, after the children of Israel had realized their mistakes, God spoke to Moses to make a bronze serpent.
Then the Lord said to Moses, Make a fiery serpent, and set it on a pole, and it shall be that everyone who is bitten when he looks at it shall live. So Moses made a bronze serpent, and put it on a pole, and so it was, the serpent had bitten anyone. When he looked at the bronze serpent, he lived. Numbers chapter 21, verse 8, New King James Version.
For anyone who doesn't already know where the logo of the World Health Organization had came from, this passage we had just read was its inspiration. But it was precisely this reason that the Bible prophecies written in the Book of Revelation chapter 13, verse 14 was fulfilled because the World Health Organization had bore the image to the beast as their logo. As to why the bronze serpent, who was supposed to represent Jesus on the cross based on John chapter 3, verse 14 was the image to the beast instead, I will discuss this in another video.
And he deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs, which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast who was wounded by the sword and lived. For Revelation chapter 13, verse 14, New King James Version.
But back to the prophecies mentioned by Jeremiah on the coronavirus, and the prophecy reads,
Is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there? Why then is there no recovery for the health of the daughter of my people? Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 22, New King James Version.
Did you know one of the most famous balms sold in Asia was Tiger Balm? Tiger Balm is manufactured and distributed by Par Healthcare, Singapore. Now if we look up the Bible for Gilead and balm together, another prophecy will appear which is still true until today, because there is still no cure for the coronavirus. And according to the same prophecy, this explained why there were so many different versions of COVID-19 vaccines rendering different side effects.
Go up to Gilead and take balm, O Virgin, the daughter of Egypt. In vain you will use many medicines, you shall not be cured. But Jeremiah chapter 46, verse 11, New King James Version.
But we should have continued to read the following verses after Hosea chapter 6, verse 8 to understand how accurate Bible prophecies were in depicting Gilead science was a band of robbers.
Gilead is a city of evildoers and defiled with blood. As bands of robbers lie in wait for a man, so the company of priests murder on the way to Shechem. Surely they commit lewdness. I have seen a horrible thing in the house of Israel. There is the harlotry of Ephraim. Israel is defiled. Also, O Judah, a harvest is appointed for you, when I return the captives of my people. Hosea chapter 6, verse 8 to 11. New King James Version.
According to Hosea's prophecy, the band of robbers were lying in wait for a man. And this man has a name, and his name was Pastor Joseph Prince, because the prophecy had specifically mentioned the name Shechem. If the name Shechem was broken into two parts, comprised of the word she for a woman and Chem was short for chemistry. It is common knowledge in Christian teachings that a woman was always used as a type for the church, for the bride of Christ. In this case, I believe the woman was referring to the Star Vista Mall. And within the geographical location of the Star Vista Mall is Biopolis, located in 1 North. Biopolis, an amalgamation of words biomedical and polisa, a Greek term for a city of about 20,000 people, was the first major development to be completed in 1 North. Biopolis is a custom-built biomedical research and development center in 1 North, Buena Vista, Queenstown, Singapore. It isn't a coincidence that this avant-garde science center is located in a focused area of a wide-ranging research and development. Now, let's read from the Book of Genesis, who this prophetic Shechem was actually referring to.
Now Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she had borne to Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. And when Shechem the son of Hamor the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her, and violated her. His soul was strongly attracted to Dinah the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the young woman and spoke kindly to the young woman. So Shechem spoke to his father Hamor, saying, "Get me this young woman as a wife." Genesis chapter 34, verse 1-4, New King James Version.
According to the above scriptures we have just read, Shechem was a prince of the country. And you've guessed it, the Genesis prophecy was telling us exactly why God had plagued the whole earth with the coronavirus. It was because Pastor Joseph Prince had coveted the remaining shares of the Star Vista Mall for himself by spiritually violating the church building continuously with his false teachings that Jesus is your heavenly Joseph and fulfilling the prophecies of Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12-14. Now, back to the first question at the beginning of this video, concerning the floods of zombies-themed game titles and movies. Just like the movie Contagion, it was as if that movie had acted as a small prophetic window, showing us what would happen in the future, and it did. Let's read some Bible passages, and this video will end. Therefore, when you see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, standing in the holy place, whoever reads, let him understand. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let him who on the housetop not go down to take anything out of his house, and let him who is in the field not go back to get his clothes. But woe to those who are pregnant, and to those who are nursing babies in those days. And pray that your flight may not be in winter or on the Sabbath. For then there will be great tribulation, such as has not been since the beginning of the world until this time, no, nor ever shall be. And unless those days were shortened, no flesh would be saved. But for the elect's sake those days will be shortened. Matthew chapter 24, verse 15-22, New King James Version. In some of my previous videos, we have seen how the birth name of Pastor Joseph Prince was a strange man of darkness, ought not to be standing in God's sanctuary fulfilling the prophecies of Jeremiah chapter 51. Verse 51 was in fact the abomination of desolation. Could the great tribulation that Jesus spoke about on the Mount of Olives was referring to a zombies apocalypse? I am not certain, but please read the following prophecy by the prophet Ezekiel, whom God had also called him as the Son of Man.
And you, son of man, take a sharp sword, take it as a barber's razor, and pass it over your head and your beard. Then take scales to weigh and divide the hair. Therefore thus says the Lord God, because you have multiplied disobedience more than the nations that are all around you, have not walked in my statutes, nor kept my judgments, nor even done according to the judgments of the nations that are all around you. Therefore thus says the Lord God, indeed I, even I, am against you, and will execute judgments in your midst, in the sight of the nations. And I will do among you what I have never done, and the like of which I will never do again, because of all your abominations.
Please listen the following closely.
Therefore fathers shall eat their sons in your midst, and sons shall eat their fathers, and I will execute judgments among you, and all of you who remain I will scatter to all the winds. Therefore, as I live, says the Lord God, surely, because you have defiled my sanctuary with all your detestable things, and with all your abominations, therefore I will also diminish you. My eye will not spare, nor will I have any pity. 1/3 of you shall die of the pestilence, and be consumed in your midst, and 1/3 shall fall by the sword all around you. And I will scatter another third to all the winds, and I will draw out a sword after them. Ezekiel chapter 5, verse 1 and verse 7-12. New King James Version.
In the above prophecy from the Book of Ezekiel, and especially after reading verse 12, it is important to note the three things in the prophecy, and that is the pestilence, the sword and the winds, which sounded like the second and fourth seal of Revelation chapter 6.
When he opened the second seal, I heard the second living creature saying, "Come and see." Another horse, fiery red, went out, and it was granted to the one who sat on it to take peace from the earth, and that people should kill one another. And there was given to him a great sword. Revelation chapter 6, verse 3 and 4. New King James Version.
And the following was what Jesus had said concerning a sword.
Do not think that I came to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's enemies will be those of his own household.
Matthew chapter 10, verse 34 to 36. New King James Version.
When he opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth living creature saying, "Come and see." So I looked, and behold, a pale horse. And the name of him who sat on it was Death, and Hades followed with him. And power was given to them over a fourth of the earth, to kill with sword, with hunger, with death, and by the beasts of the earth. Revelation chapter 6, verse 7 to 8. New King James Version.
Please follow this channel for more Bible prophecies explained.